Little motherfucker gonna try to rob me. Well, I'm gonna show you how we do it up here in Benton. No, I wasn't trying to rob. Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in you. Now who sent you? No.
So what's up? We standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you're messed up. So fess up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. So what's up? We standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you're messed up. So fess up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. Sword clown, know that it's over like it's the fourth down. We the source now. Hear a big bang with tanks on ground. More than the scrimmage, yeah, we forcing the sin, and yeah, we pushing no limit. Leave the fight with no blemish. You the hometown, but you not receiving no privilege. We gon' do you bad, rape, rob, and pillage. But we nothing like the white man. I can see that you a big fan. Every time we go live, I see you in the damn stands. Watching and plotting, I see that you stalking a bit.
Yes.
Laughing at people, they seeing you taking
Here's
a
the
bit.
definition of plagiarism. The practice of taking someone else's work and ideas and passing them off as
Crazy
one's
ass nigga, we the source. Yeah, we cite source. Spitting hot flames more hotter than hot sauce. Drummy ass nigga,
Yo, what's going on, peoples? What's going on, man? Source Debate League, we back for another installment of laying the smackdown on Candy Ass. Okay, let's go ahead and make that clear. For those that don't know, my name is Jeremiah. Please say to Yah. I am the CEO of the Source Debate League, man, and we got another hard-hitting debate for you all today. All right. So, you know, for all you non-Israelites out there, I know you fresh off of chitlins and ham hock. All right. So let's go ahead and get your mental filled. All right. I got an illustrious panel. Today, we got 3 judges. We got an official debate. Official debate. Let me bring everybody on. All right. All right. So we know that you all are very familiar with General Yashar. I want to introduce General Yashar, and then we're going to introduce the judges and his opponent as it's about to go down. General Yashar, one of the founders of the Source Debate League, man, talk to us, family. What's going on today, man? What is going on today?
Man, first off, shalom, family. It's been a good minute, right?
Yes, sir.
You know what it is. Source up and shut up, right? Tanks on the ground.
That's right.
Commander General Yashar on deck. My brother, my young brother, you know, we've been having discussions here and there on different platforms, and we got into this Melchizedek discussion, and he felt like his understanding is superior than what we bring to the table from our culture concerning Melchizedek. So I watched him, listened to him, and here we are. So with that being stated, what I'm here to show, right, is how our Melchizedekian title, right, it passes down just like the dynasties, right, just like a kingship from father to son, just like our Levitical priesthood, right, from father to son. You are who your father is. Everybody understand that foundation of ours. So this is what we're going to show, right? We also going to show the migration pattern, right, of our language, and how that language, right, is the concrete foundation to this very title that we speak of in the very word shalom, right? I know it sound kind of strange because it's a different conversation versus what we normally used to listening to. So put your thinking caps on, right? Ain't no biasness going on. Understand what's being presented and make a judgment, right? The title is this, from my standpoint, the origins of the title of Melchizedek and the word shalom. That's what I'll be representing, coming from our science, our sources, and I might even tap outside just a little bit just to prove a point. With that being said, Commander General Yashar, tanks on the ground. Source up and shut up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I'm not even going to butcher the brother's name. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, brother. Very intelligent brother. As I spoke with him a little bit before the show started. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Let the people know why we're here.
Ain't no doubt. All right, man. It's the brother Ase was man. It's the proper name for Asar. Here I'm just here to right the wrongs, man. I'm here to actually show people history. I'm here to actually show, first of all, the linguistics, the linguistical, chronological understanding of the word Zedek, how this was a deity. This was a whole god. What you would consider as the Israelite, and the brother of the Commander General Yashar would consider as the Israelite, a pagan god at that. So we gonna bring out how Zedek was a complete veneration to a pagan god before the Hebrew Israelites even come onto the scene. We also gonna show how Shalim or Salim, well, how y'all would like to consider it, Shalom, was also one of these pagan deities as well. We gonna go on the chronological map. We're going to go on a linguistical journey, and we just go deal with facts, because I'm so sick of this pseudo-biblical narrative being pushed over actual historical proof and facts. So that's what we're here to do. I'm going to show how my opponent does not truly deal with historical facts. He deals with a lot of fairy tale. I'll let it near. Ashe.
All right. All right. Very interesting, man. Very interesting. I want to see it. Okay. All right. Because here at the Source Debate League, we source up. Are we going to shut up, man? Right. There's a lot of imitators out there. But we're going to show you this scholarship, man, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, man. Right. Bring forth your information. Bring forth your strong reasoning. All right. And so for this event, we got some judges in the building, man. Elder Maharaka in the building, man. Talk to us, family.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. More praises here to hear both sides of the matter, and who come with the strongest argument.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
it. Just hear the information.
All right.
Source up and shut up.
That's right, man. One of the veterans, man, of the Source Debate League, Pro Rizzo 1 in the building, man. Talk to us, family.
All right, folks. Y'all know what time it is. Pro Rizzo 1 to the law and the testimonies with y'all here. General Yashar, salute out. Long to the panel. All right. I'm want to hear good argument between you two, and hear some facts, hear how it's put together, and give us the title so I can know. I'm a little bit curious about that. Supposing we'll get to that. All right, folks. Let the fun begin. I'm off the mic.
Let the fun begin, man. Let the fun begin. Last but not least, man, we got one of our most honorable sisters in the building, man, because it ain't all about you men. Okay? Got one of our honorable sisters, man, who is a debater herself, right? Sister Jasmine in the building. Talk to us, sister.
Hi, here we are.
All right. All right, man. So who's going first? Let's get the times of the rounds. Salaki, I didn't ask beforehand. What's the time of the rounds? So I get this clock going. Yashar, you there?
Yeah, so we came up with either 2 15-minute rounds or 3 10-minute rounds. Whichever one is comfortable for the judges and the host.
Asad, what you want to do, bro? Asad, you there? Can you hear me, bro? Asad. Can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me? Can I be heard?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
I don't know if he can.
What you want to do, Asad? Ask him for me, man. Maybe he can't hear me.
Asar, can you hear me, bro? Ashe.
Yeah, I can hear y'all, bro.
Oh.
Hey, what you want to do? 3 10-minute rounds or 2 15-minute rounds?
So let's do 3 10s.
3 10s. All right, who's going first?
I got the claim. I'll go first.
All right, that'll work. That'll work, man. Let me get your PowerPoint pointed up here. All right. Okay. All right, man. Let me get the clock going.
So, right here, we getting into the origins of the of Melchizedek, actually. So, going into my second slide within this introduction, I just want to first, like I said, I'm gonna show that we not dealing with a brother who deal with a lot of facts. So, I want you to I want to put me back on the screen real quick, brother. Let put my camera back on the screen. 1 second.
All right, I got you.
I got a video. Got a few videos of incredible cap. Roll the tape. I'm gonna turn this all the way up for y'all.
So when I share my screen, they can understand what's being shared and what's
my opponent.
Because the question was genealogy of Abraham. Can we find it? Am I correct, Ashe? It would exist, correct?
Genealogical evidence of Abraham.
Genealogical evidence.
Genealogical evidence of Abraham. We go fast forward a little bit.
Nature, right? So here it's talking about Abraham's children in the genome era, major Jewish diaspora, right? So when you look into Genesis 10 and what our sister posted, right, you'll see that Abraham created a lot of nations, right? And the Ashkenaz, right, is one that came by way of his genealogy, right? By way of his blood.
Hold on. So we finna try to take a bit. You can get back to you can go back to the slide, brother. So we supposed to be finna take a biblical understanding from a brother who don't even understand the Bible. He just told us right there that Ashkenaz comes through by way of Abraham. Table of Nations, we go see that Ashkenaz come by way of Gomer. So there's like this whole introduction right here to show we not dealing with a credible man. We're not. We go take it a step further. We go roll one more tape and then I'm gonna get straight into the discussion. One more tape.
What you believe in.
Here we go.
I'm worried about the facts.
Facts.
So if I'm listening to a person talk about beliefs, I'm gonna come up and talk about the facts, not their belief. So the factual evidence states that you don't have an understanding of who was in Europe and who ruled Europe before the so-called pale skin, sir.
That's actually true.
Oh man, I know. Yeah, I know. That's the only thing that you're gonna be able to give me. You're not gonna be able to go to a primary source and prove what you're talking about. Look at here, my brother. I know.
Let's see what he say.
About the Europeans and all this slavery. Like, bro, like, man, we are so beyond the European, the pale skin with the Bible. Do you understand? You are, brother. I said we are.
But let's let him talk, Suntan. Please. Patient, so he won't.
A lot of us understand already the Moorish kingdom, right?
Listen.
So we talk about the Moors. I understand where they get the title from. The actual man that held the title of Moor, which is where all of his dynasties, his children that came after him, held that title. This is where the so-called, what do you call that? Sovereignty, right?
Now we can go directly back to the slides. Let's get into the information. He just said that the Moors get their name. Now zoom in on that a little bit if you can, brother. With the excerpt about Fergus Moore. I just want to address this. We said the Moors get their name, the Moorish kingdom, from a man named Fergus Moore. But we see right there within that excerpt, can't really read it, brother, that this man, Fergus Moore, yeah, we got to zoom it all the way in. as much as you can. You might have to go into the slide. That this man Fergus Moore was not even a historical man. There's no manuscript on this person. There's no lineage. There's no record in no Scottish text, primary text mentioning this person. Let's roll on to the next slide. I just wanted to let everybody know who we even dealing with. You can move past that one too, brother. I'm gonna need you to zoom in a little bit. I can't read the letters.
It's giving me hold on, let me see if I can change the
view.
I
can zoom in though. Never mind. So first, let's address the god Zedek, the righteous and the justice. The name Zedek from the Semitic root Tzedek, righteousness and justice, appears in the Canaanite and early West Semitic religion as a deified abstraction, essentially a god personifying justice or righteous order. In the Ugaritic text, 13th century BCE, we find references to deities whose names are built on similar abstract concepts. We know we have Shalom, who equals into peace. We have Reshif, the plague. These are all deities whose names have a meaning. While Zedek is frequently attested as Baal or El, the pattern suggests he belongs to this category of this divine hypostasis. We can get to the next slide. So let's go into a couple of these kings that we know for a fact directly venerated the deity Zedek. This is before you got a Melchizedek on the land. This is before the Hebrews have compiled a language. It ain't got nothing going on at this point. Let's talk about it. So we see Zedek Melch of Sidon in the 5th century BCE. What was going? Hold on, wait. This man name literally is Melchizedek. If you understand the way that you're supposed to read the Semitic language, then you know it's read from right to left. Melchizedek is his name. Literally, there's a king in this land of Sidon named Zedek Melch. Let's keep on going. He's the king of Sidon, the father of the king Bold of Ashtart. This is in 450 BCE. His name means Zedek is king, attested in the Sidonian inscriptions. The KAI Donner and Rolick inscriptions from Sidon. That's the source on it. We go over to the right. The biblical narrative even venerates Zedek as a deity. In the case of Joshua 10, verses 1-3, names like Adonai Zedek literally means my Lord is Zedek. You think they say my Lord means peace? My Lord is peace. My Lord is right. No, they dealing with this deity. This shows that Jerusalem kings identified himself with or under the patronage of the god Zedek. While preserved in a biblical text, it reflects genuine Canaanite royal titlery, parallel to names invoking Baal, Dagon, and even Shamash. Let's go on to the next slide, please, brother. From Zedek to Melchizedek, how we even get here? When Genesis 14 introduced Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of El Elyon, the biblical authors are drawing on this older Canaanite royal tradition, literally, believe it or not. In the original Canaanite settlement, Melchizedek literally means or likely meant my king is Zedek, the god. That's what the name means. Melch is king. Zedek is the deity. The Hebrew Bible, however, reframed the whole word. Instead of Melchizedek serving the god Zedek, he becomes the priest of El Elyon, God of the Most High, who was then identified with Yahweh, or y'all like to call Yahuwah in some instances. The old deity Zedek is not explicitly named, but the biblical authors keep the theophoric name, repurposing it into a Yahwistic context. By the time of the biblical redactors, Zedek was no longer worshipped as a separate god. Instead, Zedek was absorbed into a central quality of Yahuwah himself. This is why the Psalms and prophets constantly declared Yahuwah loves righteousness, Zedek, and justice, which will be mispec. So it even draws a difference once it stepped into this Yahwistic pantheon. So now we see you have a separation from when the original deity Zedek was righteousness and justice. When it's absorbed into this Yahwistic pantheon, that's one of the attributes of him. It's a singular attribute that just means righteousness, and it has no hints to the justness. They make up a whole new word for that, misfed. Let's go into the next slide. Let's go into a couple scholarly references, because someone may ask me, where you even getting your work from, bro?
1 minute remaining.
No doubt. So we got Frank Moore Cross. This is from the Canaanite myth in the Hebrew epic, 1973, page 50 to 52. He go into all of those deities I was talking about. He cross-argued Zedek was a pre-Israelite Canaanite god of Jerusalem, absorbed into the Israelite tradition. John Day, Yahweh and the gods and the goddesses of Canaanite, 2002, page 45 to 47. Day emphasizes how Melchizedek's name preserved the theophoric element Zedek, showing continuity with pre-Israelite religion. Mark S. Smith, The Early History of God, 2002, page 47 to 48. Smith notes Phoenician inscriptions with Zedek appears as a god and connects this to biblical names. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Time. Okay. All right, man. All right. We are now at the bottom of the first round. Yeah, it looked like Yashar got some explaining to do, man. Man put forth the case. He gave a time frame. He gave ancient historical references. He broke down the word using linguistics. Fire round, man. Fire round. General Yashar, you ready to go?
Locked and loaded.
Turn your diadem a little bit to the right, brother.
All right, here we go. So you can start at right after it says, what is Melchizedekian priest? All right. What is a Melchizedekian priest? We start at slide 5. This is what it says, right? The Apostle Paul gives the definition of the word Melchizedek in the book of Hebrews, to whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being, by interpretation, king of righteousness. And after that, also king of Shalom, which is king of peace, right? Hebrews 7:2. All right, next slide. The Hebrew word malak means king, and the Hebrew word zadok means righteous. Melchizedek is properly translated as king of righteousness. The word Melchizedek can also be translated as king of Zadok, of the Zadok priest, right? Next slide. Genesis 14 and 18, right? We see the word Melchizedek, right? We see the H442, the Hebrew, right? Next slide. So we're going to actually go into what that is, right? And from here, you see that it stems from 2 words, right? The H4428 and the Hebrew H664, right? We're going to tap into both of those to understand the root words that created this title, Melchizedek, right? Next slide. What we have here is H4428, which stems back. If you look at H442, this is where Malak comes from. Melech, right? Which is king. To get a thorough understanding, right? This would be your trilateral word. That's the root word to our title, Melchizedek. Next slide. What you have here, right, is your primitive root word, right? Which is where Melech, right? What we just seen, 4428 comes from. This is 4427. The root, as you can see right there, that root, a primitive root to rhyme inceptively, right? To ascend the throne. So this is really clear in a thorough breakdown of our language, right? In understanding that this is not a name, but it stems from a title, from its root, right? Next slide. What you see here is Zadok, right? Which stems from H663. Zadok is the right, moral, or legal. Also, equity, right? Prosperity, okay? Which lines up with righteousness, right? So when you put those two words together, you get Melchizedek, king of righteousness. Now, I would ask this brother Ase, right? Since this is not thoroughly where we get it from, please show us the father language that we get it from. Because my understanding, this comes from the Shemitic script, Shemitic language, aka Afro-Asiatic, right? This is where it stems from. Can you show me a language outside of the Shemitic script where you get Malak or Zadok from, sir? Because if you're talking about the 4th century, that's way after 10th century, 10,000 BC. It's way after, way after, bro. Way after. So you're going to have to make sense of your 4th century information or your 5th century information versus the origins of this word, Shalom, and the origins of this title that we have in Melchizedek. Next slide. Right here is the primitive root to Zadok, right? Again, what do it say? A primitive root, right? To be right, clear, right? Righteousness. So again, we see the thorough breakdown of how we come to the title Melchizedek. When we look into our genealogies, loved ones, we don't see a man named Melchizedek at all, but we see a title attached to certain men, like priest, like king, high priest, scribes, right? These are all titles that stem up under the one title. Let's see. Next slide. One might ask, what does the root word mean and how is it important in the etymology, definition, meaning, and translation of words from one language to another? In this debate, it's very important to understand the bi or trilateral root words, as the brothers made a statement, right? Didn't clearly go into it, but he made a statement, right? That creates Melchizedek and Shalom, aka Shalam, right? Next slide. We go into the parent root words, right? It says when two letter pictographs are put together, a parent root word is formed, right? So when we go back, right? When we go back to Melchizedek, what you see? Malak, right? Then you see Zadok, 2 words with 2 different definitions, spelled totally different. But then when you put them together, they have one specific spelling. One specific spelling, right? Can you show us this in any other language than the Hebrew or the Shemitic script, Ashe? If you can do that, by all means, I submit to your scholarship, right? That your information concerning our language, right, is predated by something else in somebody else's language. But I have yet to see this yet, sir. I hear it in conversation. I hear it in talking points, but not in scholarship, right? ChatGPT is not scholarship, just to be clear, right? That's not a primary source. That's what you call a search engine for those who actually have the scholarship already done. You just fact checking information, right? Because that's a grand source, right? That you can actually search a lot of different sources that you don't have access to. Never forget that about your ChatGPT. It's not your master teacher. Next slide. All right. So here is what you see in the bilateral words, right? The bilateral, meaning 2, right? And I'll just read real quick. It says the Hebrew word aleph or af, right, as they would say, is spelled with 2 Hebrew letters, aleph and the het or the bet, right? Or the ah and the ba, right? In Hebrew, the word aleph means ox, which is strength. So when you put the 2 words together, right, you have strength of hand, which is leadership. This is what you get here when you put the words together. You won't get that in anybody else's language and script, loved ones. But we talking about linguistic understanding, right? Of words, root words, bilateral at that. The all, what does that represent? Power, right? Power of the shepherd, head of our tribe and nation, which would be our high priest king, which would be Melchizedek. If you have understanding, right, of our culture and our language and our script. But if you one that's not in understanding, one that's in rejection of our science and our language and where it all stems from, then you will never understand what I'm showing and presenting. You have to definitely become a student to understand what I'm presenting. Next slide. Right? What we have here, this is the part where false doctrine and theories are laid to rest concerning the theft and language and script. When dealing with root words such as Malak and Zadok being combined to create the title Melchizedek, Ase has to show with linguistic evidence from a credible source that these two root words are stolen from another culture that speak a different language than the Shemitic. So I give you the Malak, right? And in this word Melchizedek, you see both Malak and Zadok.
Man, I'm pausing your time. The slide that's on the screen, do you see it?
Next slide.
You see the slide on the screen?
Yeah. We on the next slide. My apologies.
All right. Yeah, somebody has said that in the comment, man. Let me get you right. Is this the right one?
That's the right one. My fault. My apologies, family that's listening.
I'll start it. Throughout it to the comment section. They on board.
I appreciate y'all in the comments. So right here, I'll get back to it real quick. It says, this is the part where false doctrine and theories are laid to rest concerning the theft of language and script. When dealing with root words such as Malak and Zadok being combined to create the title Melchizedek, as you can see right there to the right of what I had written down, right? And again, it takes you back to where the words are from, where the one word, the one title is from, right? From 4428 and 6664, right? Be your bilateral words. Next slide. What you see here is, again, your biconsonantal, right? Bilateral root words that came from the parent root words. So I'm breaking it down thoroughly so you can clearly see that this is a concrete Shemitic title, word, not name. This title, word, was never given as a name to any of our descendants. Not one. Right? Next slide. What we have here is the parent root words that are the foundation to the title Melchizedek. Again, this is all Hebrew, Shemitic. And as again, right here, you see the trilateral, right? And then here, you see the trilateral, again, in the Hebrew. This is the concrete understanding of where the title Melchizedek comes from. Again, the trilateral deals with the root, the primitive root. Again, the trilateral deals with the primitive root. Can you show us in any other script, if we didn't create this title with our language, show us the origins of it, sir? That's what the title of this debate is about, the origins of Melchizedek, right? In the word shalom. What I've just shown is the origins of the title. Can you do the same? Right? Next slide. What we getting into here, right? This is my brother. This is for my brother Ase, because he loved Chat GPT, right? So what we do, we asked Chat GPT about these two words, right? What did it tell us? Ancient Shemitic often reduces to two main radicals that carry the core meaning. The foundation, that's what core is, right? For those who need to understand. The trilateral, MLK, or Zadok, SDK. The biconsonantal, which would be your bilateral, would be ML, right? For Malak, or SD for Zadok, which creates the Shemitic core, power, dominion, uprightness, balance, and justice. What do that relate to, loved ones? At the bottom, what do it consequently? Melchizedek, my king, ML, is righteous. SD, Zadok. The concept is divine dominion rooted in upright morals and spiritual order. This is from ChatGPT, where my brother like to go, where his master teacher is, right? And again, the biconsonantal root, the trilateral and consonantal for shalom. To be at rest, right? Shalom, restored, balance, completely harmony, the state where nothing is missing or broken. A root of both spiritual peace and covenant wholeness. Now, I don't know if you can do this with any other language outside of the Shemitic or Afro-Asiatic language, but this is your time to shine, young man. I hope you got the answers, Craig. I really hope you got the answers, because right here, you're going to have to debunk this. This is concrete, solid information. As a matter of fact, you mentioned this information in your first slide, or not slide, but your first half, right? So yeah, make sure you bring out that language and script that's not of the Afro-Asiatic or Shemitic script. We'll wait for that one, right? How much time I got?
1.5 minutes.
All right. False statements made by rabbis, rabbits, right? And scholars that never understood our culture. Let's tap into a few before my time grow out, right? What do it say? Next slide, right? It says, what modern rabbits, as I call them, teach about Melchizedek comes from the Talmud, which is also called the oral law. Jesus called this the tradition of the elders. This teaching says that there was no order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek was the name of a man who happened to be a priest of the Most High. Now, that sounds like what my brother was just speaking about. Now, y'all know I don't deal with the Jewish information at all. I might use their information to put their foot in their mouth, but that's about it. That's about all. So what we have here is false teaching, because right here it teaches that Melchizedek is a name of a man, where we never see that nowhere in our documented history. From First Chronicles, right, to Matthews, to Luke, we see no man named Melchizedek. Next slide, up.
Time.
Right here.
Time.
Time.
All praise and glory. All praise and glory. Okay. All right. Now, one thing that I'm noticing about this whole discrepancy here, there's definitely a language barrier. And judges, I pray that you're paying attention, because we just so happen to have linguists as judges, right? So Pro Rizzo 1 is proficient in the Hebrew and in the Greek. Maharakar is proficient in the Hebrew, right? So these brothers are studied and learned concerning the ranges of variations that words can translate and be utilized, the various meanings, how words slide from one meaning to another based upon the language itself. So a lot of questions was posed in that rebuttal round, which is actually his first round, but he posed a lot of important questions, right? And so did the brother. So we're now entering into the second round. We're at the top of the second round. Ase, you ready, brother?
Man, absolutely.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Man, I get them go. I want you to go down on my slides. Don't start the time till you get it up there. Go down on my slides to it should say Semitic, not Shemitic, or something along those lines, or the origin of the word Semitic, one of the two. It should go have a European on there. A couple Europeans. Towards the end.
All right. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Let me know when I need to stop.
Okay.
Boy, you boy got some clips in the chamber.
Okay, right there. You
Still
can stop
going?
right there. Go. You can go back up there where you just seen Semitic. We can go. Okay, right here. Let's get that blown up. So you got to understand that what I've been doing to this man is something very strategic, and he threw himself off the backboard. Facts. It's the reason I showed that first clip, because I wanted to show y'all we can't take no biblical information from this man. I'm glad that your brother even said that we got linguists in the building, because this man kept saying Shemitic every single time that word Semitic popped up there. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that's his way of being disingenuous and trying to paint a false narrative that don't exist. Because that word Semitic, which was actually there every time, when y'all look back at it through the rest of his work, you go see Semitic, but he's going to keep saying Shemitic, and it's a reason. I'm going to tell you why. Let's show. So the term Semitic was first used in the 18th century by European scholars to classify languages. What? Wait, what? So you telling me that it ain't no Semitic in the book? That you can't find the word Semitic nowhere in the text? He's just making up stuff as he go, saying Shemitic every time he bump into this? It comes from the German word Semitisk, introduced by August Ludwig von Schlosser. The term Semitic was first used by the German historian August Ludwig von Schlosser in 1781 to classify languages related to Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic, a designation derived from the biblical name Shem, one of Noah's sons. Schlosser applied it to a family of languages, and Johann Gottfried Eichhorn later popularized the term, though it has since been criticized for incorrectly conflating linguistic groups with shared racial or ethnic heritage. Let me break that down just a little bit for y'all, because he asked the question. I want to, and even said if I can show him, he'll bow down that my information is superior onto his. Let's break him down. He don't understand the Table of Nations. We already showed you. He said Ashkenaz came through Abraham. You can't believe this dude. Out of his mind. So let's deal with it like this, right? The reason we don't really use the word Semitic, and the reason he's trying to change it to Shemitic, is because that's an anachronistic statement. Because you're going to find Berber, Cushitic, and what they would even like to consider Egyptian in the Semitic language family, and Canaanite is in there. Wait. And the oldest solidified Semitic language is Akkadian. Whoa. Why is this brother so dramatic about these words? Because when you go into the Table of Nations, you see that the city of Akkad, along with Babel and a couple other lands, was set up by Nimrod. Who the hell is Nimrod? Nimrod is the son of Cush. Who the hell is this? Who's Cush? The son of Ham, a Hamitic man, not a Shemitic man coming through the line of Shem. So that belongs to them people. So when you were just saying that, okay, so if the oldest language, okay, let's go back to the slides, brother. Let's get the slides back out. I want you to go back up to I have a chronological mapping of the word Zedek. And I have a chronological mapping of the word Shalom in there. I'll let you know. This man is out of pocket. Okay, chronological. Let's go back there. I want you to go back a couple slides. Not that one, before that one, but right here. Chronological understanding of Shalam. Let's go into this right here. When we go into this right here, it says we have a whole list, a layout of the chronological. This is giving dates. This man just threw out dates and give you nothing. Just left us to fantasize like he does with the text. So when we go into the Proto-Semitic, wait, and this, I'm gonna really open this up. When we go into the Proto-Semitic language, before it was even really organized, we see that word Shalam that we talking about, it meant to be whole, intact, complete, well-being, and health. Then let's go, and then they use the word Salmu, they use the word Salima, and then when we go into the oldest up in here, we go step into the Akkadian, and that's gonna be in the 2500 through 500 BCE. They go use the word Simu. It's gonna mean well-being, safety, prosperity. Shomanu means gift or well-being, also used as a diplomatic tribute. Then we go over here to the Ugaritic. In the 1400 to 1200 BCE, we see the SLM, the root meaning is well-being, completeness, divine name or epithet, Salim, the evening star deity, the twin of Shahar. Hold on, wait. And then you get the Phoenician and the Punic at 1200 BCE through 600 CE. They saying Silum and Salim to recompense or reward. And then in the Iron Age, in the Iron Age, the youngest here is when these Hebrew guys start saying, they just said late antiquity. They start saying shalom for peace, harmony, and welfare. That's why when they bump into it, shalom, but they don't understand way before they were shaloming it up, they were shaloming dealing with the twin deity of Shahar, which would be Shalim. So let's go into the next slide. So let's get some scholarly backing. He ain't do a lot of that either. So who was this guy? The god Shalim. At the city of the Ugarit, Ras Shamra, Syria, text written in the Ugaritic cuneiform, the name Shalim as a deity. Shalim appears as the god of dusk, sunset, the twin brother of Shahar, who was the dawn. Both are described as children of the high god El and his consort Ashera. Both you can see here suckling Ashera. This is, of course, Ashera is the feminine deity, and they are both there latching on to her nipples. Shahir and Shalim. Next slide, please, brother. Talking about you can show us that we got it from somebody else. I just showed y'all that y'all took it from the Canaanites, who ain't even y'all people, who not a Shemitic people, who are Hamitic people, and y'all taking from the Akkadians, who are also Hamitic people, according to your script. Let's go to the next slide, bro. Shalim continued. Let's go into the text, the KTU 123, the birth of the gracious God. It reads, primary source right here. It's what he like. With one lip to the earth, one lip to the heavens. Dawn, which they would say Shahar, and dusk, Shalim, the gracious gods, sons of El. The source right here is Mark Smith. The Ugaritic Baal Cycle, Volume 1, 1994, page 96 through 100. Nick Wyatt also speaks about it in the religious text from the Ugarit 2002 on page 101. This proves Shalim was a real Canaanite deity long before Israelite religion emerged. We don't even know Israelites around. The name Jerusalem also predates the Bible by 1,000 years. Its earliest meaning is tied not to Yahuwah, but to the Canaanite pantheon. The god Shalim is explicitly attested at the Ugarit centuries before Genesis was ever written. The original name of the land was literally Jerusalem, Urusalim. Next slide, please. This man is cooked. You see me use that word KTU, that abbreviation. Like, what does that mean? That's going to be these are German words. Same place where the word Semitic coming out of. Funny. So I ain't go even try to pronounce that. But it translates, it's German for the cuneiform alphabetic text from the Ugarit. This is standard scholarly edition of the Ugarit tablets published by M. Dietrich Oleritz and J. Simon Martin, the first edition in 1976, established in 2013. Every Ugaritic text is given a number, a KTU number. For example, KTU 123 is the birth of the gracious gods. That's all right here in the Baal cycle. Next slide.
1 minute, 1 minute remaining.
Damn. Let's go into some more primary source. KTU God list. Let's get some offerings to Shalim. To Shahar and to Shalim, the great gods. Show that Shalim was actively worshipped with cult offerings, not just a mythological figure or a simple greeting like they use it. Fragmentary cult texts mention Shahar and Shalim and associated with ritual provisions. confirms that they had temple service or cult rites. Also, the KTU 1.92 list of gods invoked in ritual context includes Shahar and Shalim, who are siblings. The source is Nicholas White, the religious text from the Ugarit 2002, page 413. I'll end there.
Woo! Woo! Okay, man. All right. I like it, man. Ain't playing no games in here, man. I like it. I like it because brothers is fighting back, man. You got to fight on your hands, man. You got to fight on your hands as we're looking at the history, coming out dealing with the linguistics, right? And the origins of these terminologies, right? Are there variations, right? Are there variations in the different uses and different languages that we see, right? Brothers are making strong claims. Strong claims here, man. I respect it, bro. I respect it. All right. General Yashar, you ready? General Yashar, you there?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll be right with you.
All right, all right, all right. Again, man, be on the lookout, family. We're going to be dealing with the Gentile salvation, man. Most High will. We're going to be dealing with that soon after this program. We're going to be dealing with our peer review of the Gentile salvation after this program. You be on the lookout for that. Me and Elder Maharakah is going to be dealing with that topic in a scholastic form, right? Bringing forth, dealing with every point by point by point. So be on the lookout for that. Airing here on Sister E's platform and Yah World 777 on YouTube. All right. It also is going to be airing on E37 Ministries. Right. You'll also be able to see that on Facebook. Gentile Salvation, our Israelite rebuttal and review. All right. So it's going down, man. I see you back there, bro. I see you back there. Bring the brother back.
I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go to the last 2 slides real quick so I can just kill this real quick and then we can get back to where I left off at.
All right.
So the last 2 slides. All right. To blow that up a little bit.
Uh-oh. 1 second here. The last 2 slides?
That's 2. Go to the first, that one right there first. Go and blow that up for the people.
For some reason, I'm having a problem blowing it up, man. Hold on. It's the best I can do right here. Best I can do.
Okay. They should be able to see the Semitic language, International Handbook. And right up under that, it's edited by Stephen Wieninger, right? In a collaboration with Geoffrey Kahn, Michael P. Streck, Janet C.E. Watson. But that's just to show you that this is a scholarly text right here. Go to the next slide for me. Because remember what I asked the brother real clearly, right? Is to show me the word not a part of the Shemitic script, right? So if you could blow that up, and you probably won't be able to see it too well because of how small the letters is, but this source right here in chapter 4, it talks about the Akkadian, right? And if you look at chapter 4, it talks about the Shemitic language and dialect of the East Shemitic language, Akkadian, along with the Babylonian, right? Then if we bump down to the next, right up under the highlight, right? That highlight right there is where it speaks of the Akkadian, right? Which is still a Shemitic script, right? And just be clear, Semitic is the Greek word for Shem. Either way you cut and slice it, it relates back to Shem, right? So chapter 5 talks about the Shemitic language and dialect, Northwest Shemitic. What's up under that dialect? The Amorite and the Ugaritic. This is what he was just speaking of. That the word Shalam or Shalom or however he was saying it stems from. Same thing, family. Script. He didn't show us anything outside of the Shemitic script. This stems from Shem and his children, right? But this is what he wants to reject because he deals with scholarship that's biased to our culture, that's biased to what we stand on in our science, right? But everything is clear. It's nothing made up, right? So since we're done with that, let's get back to the information, all right? So what I pulled here was slide number 23. That's where we at, slide number 23. So right here, we're still dealing with the false information, right? And I'm showing you here just to confirm what was stated about the Jewish parasites, not that one, not that one, that one right there. The Jewish parasites, right? That spoke on Melchizedek being the name, right? So it says, and this is Nedarim 32b. So you can go and fact check where they lied and said that this is his name, right? It says once Melchizedek, and then let me read it. It says once Melchizedek, traditionally identified as Shem, placed the blessing of Abraham before the blessing of the omnipresent. He had the priesthood emerge from Abraham in particular and not from any other descendant of Shem. Right here, it's a problem, right? Because what he's saying is Melchizedek, traditionally identified as Shem, placed a blessing before Abraham before he blessed the Most High. We don't read that nowhere, right? We don't see Melchizedek doing no such thing in scriptures from Genesis to Yashar to Jubilees, not even to our historians and Josephus, right? So I'm just showing you the false teachings that certain people might come with, right? Like they speak a lot and say a lot, but they can't line it up with nothing, right? So then you have the next slide. Then we have what you call typology, which the Christians like to come with, right? What is typology, right? The type or antitype. The next slide. Yeremiah. Yeremiah, you with me?
Next slide. Next slide.
Yes, sir. What I'm showing you is the false teachings, right? With the theories of where Melchizedek stemmed from. So you see the Kabbalah or the Talmud, they say the man, right? The name of a man, right? What they say here, right? This is Christian typology. This is their thought process, right? The priesthood not based on genealogy, but on divine appointment, oath, preeminence, eternal, forever, and combined king priest role. So they saying that the Melchizedek that Abraham encountered was a typology or a figment of their imagination of Yashar. This is how they push it and teach it. Some of our brothers do the same. Next slide. Biblical typology is the study of how elements in the Old Testament, such as people, events, institutions, are types, like I just stated, right? That foreshadow or prefigure greater realities in the New Testament, especially Yahshua or Jesus Christ. So again, this is a Christian thought process and theology taught doctrine, right? Next slide. The church father of Jerome, same thing, right? Christian typology, right? Next slide.
we have medieval. So we breaking it down from different factions in history, right? Where the misunderstanding was taught and pushed and how long it's been taught and pushed, right? So what they say here, right? It says, consequently, the priesthood of Yashar is said to be according to the order of Melchizedek on account of excellence of the true priesthood over the figural priesthood of the law, right? Again, we having a misunderstanding of how this priesthood is lined up. And they also said that the Levitical priesthood was a foreshadow in the priesthood of Melchizedek, who received tithes and offering from Abraham, right? So they got two different type thought processes, right, that don't line up with our actual information. Again, just showing you misunderstanding and false teachings. Next slide. Got John Calvin, again, with the typology, a pattern of Christ's superior priesthood. It's not Christ's superior priesthood because it was the Father who ordained Yahshua to be under the order of Melchizedek forever. It was no other man or priest that did it. Next slide. So here, right, again, we have the modern thought process, right? John Wesley says this: the sum of this chapter is Christ, as appears from his type. Here we go with the typology. So even in this modern time, they get it from before medieval time, right? Modern day scholar F.F. Bruce says this: widely cited modern evangelical commentary argues Melchizedek is used by Hebrews to establish Christ's priesthood as superior and established by an oath, right? Again, there is no Christ priesthood. There's a Melchizedekian priesthood that the Most High identified him under. Next slide. Our ancient ancestors' information is found in many sources, and y'all about to see why. Next slide. Right? So right here we got Joshua. Joshua 10, 1 and 3. Right here speaks of Adonzedek, right? The Adonzedek that he was speaking about, meaning Lord of justice, family, right? When you understand.
Hey, Yashar, you blanked out for 10 seconds, bro. You blanked out for 10 seconds. Repeat your last 10 seconds.
No doubt. I spoke on Joshua, right? Joshua 10, right? Speaking of Adonzedek, right? Meaning having the same, how can I say, bilateral and trilateral root word, right? Adonai meaning Lord. Go to the next slide. Next slide so we can get to it, right? Adonai, H113, right? That means sovereign, ruler, controller, Lord, right? And that word is also attached to Zadok, right? Which gives us Lord of justice, right? So we have these titles that coincide with each other: Adonzedek, Melchizedek. This all lines up not with Canaanite lingo, because the Canaanite lingo is also attached to the Shemitic script and language. Why is that? Shem was the priest that they all learned from. They all copied their script from. Where'd they get that script from? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Next slide. Book of Yashar states this. This is 16, 8 through 12. And Abraham recovered the property of Sodom, and he also recovered Lot and his property, his wives and little ones, and all belonging to him, so that Lot lacked nothing. Verse 9. And when he returned from smiting these kings, he and his men passed the valley of Siddim, where the kings had made war together. 10. And Berera, king of Sodom, and the rest of his men that were with him went out from the lime pits into which they had fallen, and met Abraham and his men. Verse 11. And Adonzedek, king of Jerusalem, The same was Shem, went out with his men to meet Abraham and his people with bread and wine, and they remained together, in the valley of Malak, the kings, right? And Adonizedek blessed Abraham, and Abraham gave him a tenth from all that he had brought from the spoil of his enemies. From Adonizedek was a priest before Yahweh. Again, Shem, we see it very clearly. And this lines up with what? The next slide, please. I'm going to skip Jubilees right now because Jubilees is not sufficient, right? But what I want to make a point about Jubilees is this, right? You see a lacuna when it's speaking about this very incident, right? In the campaign of Chedorlaomer. You will see the lacuna. The lacuna is the missing information, right? But it all lines up with the very giving of the tithes to the Melchizedek, the priest. It lines up. The only thing we don't see is where the name Melchizedek is mentioned in Jubilees, but we see the very acts and actions, right? Next slide. The origins of our Melchizedekian priesthood ordained by Yahweh. Next slide. Right here is from a source called Ancient Order of Melchizedek. And it reads this. The flood occurred in 1656 AM. The fragments of the Testament of Noah that were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls reveal some interesting details
remaining
for our study. In column 8, it is written that Noah had the written accounts of the patriarchs with him aboard the ark. At this point, we have the pre-flood list of Melchizedekian priests, or king, priest, prophets. These include Adam, Canaan, Enoch, Methuselah, and Noah. Next slide. Starting with Adam, and I'm going to end here. Next slide. It says this. Scriptures say in Genesis 1 and 26 through 28 that Yahweh created Adam and gave him dominion over all the earth. This makes him king over the entire earth. We know Yahweh talked with Adam and revealed to him that there was a need for a savior. Yahweh told him one of his descendants would be that savior. Book of Adam and Eve, chapter 14, 1 through 6. These actions and experiences make him priest king and the first Melchizedekian priest of Yahweh, Eternal's order. Our land.
Con. All right, man. So I pray that you all are paying attention, right? So in this discussion, there's been a variation. They've been floating between Melchizedek, the discussion on Melchizedek, and the discussion on the origins of the word shalom, right? Does this word have other ancestral roots outside of the nation of Israel concerning the word shalom? Was the Melchizedekian order or was Melchizedekian position attributed to other gods, what the Israelites would call false gods, right? Was this something that was either stolen, something that was plagiarized, or something that was just outright utilized by the children of Israel from an ancient, older civilization, right? And the cultural practices stemming from Melchizedek, right? Having attachments to other deities. That's what's on the table. And I hope you all are paying attention because I'm paying attention, right? And these assertions must be solidified, right? These assertions must be solidified or disproven. Solidified or disproven. All right. So I pray that you all are paying attention and the judges are keeping track of what the actual discussion is. So for those that may have came in late, right? What's on the table is the origins of Shalom and the ancestral origins of Melchizedek. That's what's on the table, right? I hope I explained that correctly because I am paying attention. Asar, you ready?
Let's go. So let's get some slides up. And I do want to address that. I'm not dealing with no order of Melchizedek. That's his claim and his claim alone. I'm saying that they took to the deck a deity and attributed and made it an attribute belonging onto their pantheon. These people had these deities set up way before these people had anything going on. That's my stance. He can have the order of Melchizedek. Matter of fact, can you please go to the slide that I got, the phony order? Because I couldn't wait to tear his ass up about this.
Okay. Yeah, because I wanted to make it clear. I haven't started your time yet, but I wanted to make it clear what this, because you guys are floating between those two topics. And it's good, man. What you brothers are doing is real sharp. And I just wanted to make that clear for the people, right? Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
All right, where you want me to go?
Just go down. I'll let you know.
These boys is clipped up, boy, in the slides too.
Let's go right here. Let's start here. No, let's go back. Let's start there. Woo! Because we dealing with a brother who subscribed to these texts. No, I don't believe in the text. I don't subscribe. Yeah. I watch this. So we go see right here that this is gonna be an excerpt from 2nd Enoch. He just made a ridiculous claim, a bold claim, a crazy claim that's gonna get him all type of trouble. He said that Shem was the Melchizedek, passed from father to son. That's what he said. He says passed from father to son, and he got it from Noah, and Noah got it from whoever the hell. So let's go into verse 20. It's like 6 o'clock. So verse 20, and Noah said to Ner, behold, God is renewing the continuation of the blood of the priesthood after us. And Noah and Ner hurried, and they washed the child, and they dressed him in the garments of the priesthood, and they gave him the holy bread, and he ate it. And they called his name Melchizedek. Wait, not his title. Like he keeps saying it's a title. He said they called his name Melchizedek. Hold on. Did you just say that Melchizedek got a... Okay, and Noah said unto his brother Ner, look after this child unto the time in secret, because people have become treacherous in all the earth, and in some way when they see him, they will put him to death. See, we see right here, Ner's wife Sophanim gives birth miraculously. Just before she dies, the baby appears fully formed, glowing, and already priestly. This mirrors other miraculous birth stories found in Second Temple literature. Ner is presented as Noah's brother. Wait, I thought you said he was Shem, and he got it from Noah. One second. So I thought he got it from Noah. Ner is presented as Noah's brother. In the canonical Genesis, Noah has brothers, but none of them are named or given. Enoch invents a character named Ner, a priestly figure. This is a key detail. Very key detail. Let's go to the next slide. Here go your chat GPT, brother. So let's see what this breaking down in these chapters. In chapter 79 through 70, the birth of the name. The child name is Melchizedek, king of the righteousness. When the flood is approaching, God commands the archangel Michael, sometimes Gabriel, or whatever it takes you want to deal with, to take Melchizedek so that he will not perish. Michael carries the infant to the Garden of Eden, or paradise, where he is preserved.
1 second, brother. 1 second. I'm pausing your time. That excerpt before that was from the book of Enoch. What's that? It say right here. Excerpt from Enoch. 2nd Enoch, chapter 71. They was asking, brother. I just wanted to bring that out, that you are citing your sources, because this is the Source Debate League. All right. So
absolutely, it's right there. Excerpt from 2nd Enoch, chapter 71.
All right.
No doubt. So let's get the little precept on it. Let's go to 70. So we go 7 to 71. The flood of Melchizedek. Noah builds the ark, and everyone perishes in the flood. Melchizedek remains alive in the sacred place, the paradise of Eden. There he continues as the first priest after the flood. So we go over here. Let's get a breakdown on it. The manuscript most commonly used. We go see why they are preparing her corpse because she died, of course. So a miraculous child appears, her belly opens. A fully formed child appears. The child is shining with glory. He speaks and praises God immediately within the text. This is getting out insane. The priests are terrified. I will be too. It's a baby coming out talking and eating bread. Think about it. No breast milk, no nothing. They think this is a supernatural being or angelic being. This is a sign of judgment, they thought. Because of the child is supernatural, the wicked generation before the flood will fear and destroy him. So this is why go ahead and sets up the chapters where Melchizedek is taken by the archangel, sometimes Gabriel, Michael, to survive the flood. This is within the Enoch. He referenced that Enoch was one of the people within the priesthood. When we go into the Enoch work, I guess it's his work. Who knows? This Bible is everywhere. It's everywhere. So we go see right here that he's preserved. This man was somewhere else. So how is this him? You in trouble with the Enoch. Let's go up to a couple verses. A couple slides. Because I'm finna show how they remix this. So let's show it. They Allen Iverson with it. Let's go up. Let's go all the way up to the Hebrew remix. Couple more slides up. Y'all there?
I only see the Source Debate League.
Yeah, ain't nothing up there.
Some probably having to get his device. He'll probably be right back.
Okay.
Salakia, my damn screen transitioned on its own, man. Salakia, let me get it back together.
All right, brother.
All right, Salak. Can you hear me clearly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I damn hit the screen, knocked me all the way off. Let me get back. All right, he hit him with the Allen Iverson rules.
Mm-hmm. Let's go up to the Hebrew remix and we can work our way down from there.
All right, keep going back up.
Yeah. Let's go up a little bit. Right. Up one more. The Hebrew Israelite two-step. Let's see what the Bible claims. No, let's go to the phony order. Let's go to the phony order. Let's step into there. Let's go into the phony order. So it should say it should be the Melchizedek scroll is gonna be on the page. So I think I put it down. I think I put that slide more downwards to align with the information. I thought I would be able to control all of this. Let's go up one. Okay. It should say the phony order. The order of Melchizedek as a formal concept was not part of the earliest biblical texts. It emerged gradually as a theological reinterpretation of the historical pagan Melchizedek figure. Melchizedek appears as the king of Shalam, priest of El Elyon who blesses Abraham. No mention of an order. He is simply a priest king in the primary text. This is in Genesis 14, the 10th through 7th century BCE account. Ain't that we said 10th century? The earliest form, likely oral traditions from the 10th, 19th century BCE written down later, mentions a figure who was a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, Liao Panim Melchizedek, on the Song of David, aka the Psalm, 6th century BCE. I'm giving you dates. He didn't give none of this. The scroll is we also have the scroll called the Melchizedek document or 11Q Melchizedek. This portrays Melchizedek as a divine agent or the God or a divine agent of Yahuwah, like an angel, executing judgment on the wicked. He's acting as a liberator, a atoner for the righteous. It explicitly links him to God's eschatological, dealing with eschatology, like the end of the world plan, not a literal priestly lineage nor order. Melchizedek will proclaim liberty to the captives and atone for the children of his people. That's direct text from the Melchizedek scroll. Next slide. Why, if this is the oldest scroll that we got, then with this, why would he not be this is crazy. Let's go to why this is a phony. He will execute judgment on all the sons of arrogance. No mention of a hereditary succession, formal temple duties, or an organized order. Melchizedek is essentially a heavenly messianic figure, not the founder of a priestly line. Up in here, you see how the Bible, this biblical script, is everywhere. The scroll does not institutionalize this order. Instead, it reinforces Melchizedek's eternal and eschatological role. The order in the biblical text is therefore a literary or theological construct, not a historical reality. Let's keep on going. Next slide. A lack of genealogy. We go bring more out. In the Hebrew Bible itself, plain, the genealogies are extensively recorded, especially for the priests, the kings, and notable figures. Genesis 5:1, Chronicles and Matthew 1. Priesthood is in Israel is always traced through lineage, usually from Aaron, descendants of the Levi. Hebrews 7:3 says Melchizedek is without father, without mother, without genealogy. It is intended to make Melchizedek an eternal type of Christ, not a literal historical record. So it doesn't behoove me that he had to go to some type of modern scholar on a modern book. What do he say? And then this is how you found out who the Melchizedek was, from some modern scholar. You couldn't even go to none of your original manuscripts and get that info. You couldn't even go to the Enoch at least. At least that's the Enoch is more antiquated than the modern scholar that you brought up when you referenced this order of Melchizedek in that book. I've already broken that down. Let's go to the next slide. Next slide, brother.
Next slide.
Yeah. Melchizedek is not Shem. 2nd Enoch 64-73. Perky D. Rabbi Elijah, 8th to 19th century, compilation explicitly mentioned that Melchizedek is Shem. So him saying that Shem is literally coming from the rabbis, portraying him as a survivor of the antediluvian world who continued the true worship of God and passed it on. Later commentaries like Rashi in the 11th century also reference the tradition, noting that some rabbis identified Melchizedek with Shem. So the earliest rabbinic figure associated with this idea is likely found in the Midrash tradition linked to the early Tanaim, likely Rabbi Akiva's circle. But it is more fully fleshed out in Perky D. Rabbi Eliezer. Melchizedek is said to have been born to Nir, a figure described as a priest, sometimes brother of Noah, and his wife Sotanim, like I just brought out. But the birth is miraculous.
1 minute remaining.
Sotanim is described as having been sterile and not having laid with no man. So once again, I don't understand where he's coming from. Let's see what we get on our next slide. Oh, I'm gonna double down with this since we finna land out. Note, when he would up that scholar, he still tried to flip the word from Semitic to Shemitic. That word is Semitic. I've already ran down through the table of nations, brother, how the Akkadians and the Babylonians are set up by Nimrod. He's a son of Ham, not a son of Shem. Stop saying Shemitic and applying that to people who it don't belong to. You told me to show you that, and I showed you that plain and simple. Stop trying to twist narratives and twist words. That scholar within that book that you referenced, because I got that in my slides. I'm gonna show it. I got that scholar. He ain't never used the word Shemitic, because that ain't a real word. It's not a word for no linguistical group. Nowhere. Come on, man. This man is getting slaughtered, bro. Let's go. In there.
All right. Damn it, man. Damn it, man. This man is in the book of 2nd Enoch. God damn. God damn. Yo, hey, judges, man. I hope y'all paying attention, man. Woo, man. All right. All right. So the man made several assertions, doubled down on Shemitic and Semitic, doubled down on that, right? And brought that second Enoch, which gave an account of Noah's brother. Damn. Noah's brother was called Melchizedek. Very
His son.
His son. Noah's son?
Noah's son name was Melchizedek. They named Near's Noah's brother's son. Near son.
Yeah, which is the brother of Noah, right?
Precise.
Right. I ain't never heard that before a day in my life. Okay. All right. Yo, General Yashar, you there?
Oh yeah. Come on,
Yo, hey man. Listen, man. Woo, you got some work to do, man. What the hell's going on in here, man? What's going on in the world, huh?
Yeah, so you can start my time. So I'm gonna
All
just do this real quick. Second Enoch, you don't never ever hear me source Second Enoch. No. But since that's what you want to do and you want to go there, you say Ner was the father of Melchizedek. That's why you shouldn't listen to people and then don't thoroughly go through the very text that you just opened. Let me explain to you who the father is according to this text that you pulled, that you ain't never heard me, seen me ever source in my life. This is what it says. 72, chapter 72, this is what it says. And when the child had been 40 days in Near's tent, the Lord said to Michael, go down onto the earth to Near, the priest, and take my child, Melchizedek, who is with him, and place him in the paradise of Eden for preservation. It's nowhere in no scripture that Yashar pulls this is located. No, nowhere. As you're about to see as we continue with my slides. Let's get to it. Bro, you gotta stop listening to LG. LG is not, he's not it. Trust me, he's not it. All bad. We on slide 38. Next slide. So right here we see where Adam was given dominion, right? This is Genesis 1:26, right? And y'all said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So y'all created man in his own image, and in the image y'all created him, and male and female created he them, and y'all blessed them, and y'all said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea. Dominion. So we gonna have dominion over the earth. That's kingship, right? What do he tell Adam? Just in the pink, right? We see this is the book of Adam and Eve, like I said, right? I did source that, right? So I'm gonna go to 16. This is what it says. And Adam said to Yahweh, O Adonai, take my soul and let me not see this gloom anymore, or remove me to some place where there is no darkness. But Yahweh, the Adonai, said to Adam, I say to you, indeed, this darkness will pass from you every day. I have determined for you until the fulfillment of my covenant, when I will save you and bring you back again into the garden and into the house of light you long for, in which there is no darkness. I will bring you to the kingdom of heaven. And again, Yahweh said to Adam, all this misery that you have been made to take on yourselves because of your transgression will not free you from the hand of Hashatan. It will not save you, but I will, when I shall come down from heaven and shall become flesh of your descendants, in which he did, and take on myself the infirmities from which you suffer, which he did. Then the darkness that covered you in this cave shall cover me in the grave, which it did. When I am in the flesh of your descendants, and I whom am without years shall be subject to the reckoning of years, of times, of months, and of days, and I shall be reckoned as one of the sons of men in order to save you. This prophecy was prophesied from all of our prophets all the way till he came and did what he did. And then we see it also being fulfilled also in Revelations, right? That's prophecy. That makes him a priest. That's what priests do. They prophesy. That makes him the first Melchizedek, Adam. Next slide. Canaan, the second one, right? When Enos was 90 years old, he had a son whom he named Canaan. This would have been 3:25 a.m. when Canaan was 40 years old and 3:65 a.m. He became wise in the things of Yahweh, and prophesying, he understood that the water destruction would come first. He was just not sure in when it would happen. Notice that Canaan wrote these things down in his testament. So now we have another priest, king, Melchizedek, that understood the prophecy of this end time. Once again, we have another situation where he's representing the priesthood. He's representing leadership, dominion. That's Canaan. That's the second priest king, right? We can source that in Yashar, right? Where it speaks of everything that I just said. The next slide. Yep, that was Canaan. The next slide. This is Yashar 2:11 through 13. You can source again Canaan priesthood and leadership as king, as Melchizedek, right here in this section. Yashar 2:11 through 13. Next slide. We had Enoch, the third Melchizedek. Enoch was born in 6:22 a.m. When Enoch grew up, he wholly followed the ways of Adonai and led another revival. Enoch's revival was much more successful than that of Canaan. Seeing Yahweh's hand move so mightily through Enoch, he was made the third king of righteousness in 687 a.m. Right? Next slide. Book of Yashar, again, chapter 3, 7 through 12. It confirms everything that I just read right there. You understand? We sourcing up, family. Right? Like I told you. We're not just talking. Right? Next slide. Right? This from the Legend of the Jews. Right? We're going to read a little bit. After Enoch had lived a long time, secluded from men, he once heard the voice of an angel calling to him, Enoch, Enoch, make thyself ready and leave the house and the secret place wherein thou hast kept thyself hidden, and assume dominion over men to teach them the ways in which they shall walk, and the deeds which they shall do, in order that they may walk in the ways of Yahweh. That's the priest king, Melchizedek. Right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the evidence. This is from our historian, Josephus, from the Legend of the Jews. Right? 1 through 4. And the section is Enoch, ruler and teacher. The title in itself, the next slide. Oh, you was at Methuselah. Hold up. My fault. Go back. Methuselah. So that's where I was just at, right? So you can see right there, that's the source, right? So we have Methuselah, right? After Enoch rapture, his son Methuselah was made the next king of righteousness. But it was not long until another apostasy came, and the people turned away from Yahweh and his ways. Methuselah had a son. Lamech then had a son whom he named Noah. Again, given authority by his son, by Melchizedek, is being passed down to Methuselah, the writings and the prophecies. Again, next slide. You can fact check everything that I just said and read right there in the book of Yashar, chapter 4, 1 through 5. Right? Next slide. We had Noah, right? Noah grew up and followed the ways of Yahweh as taught by his grandfather Methuselah. Noah was given all the patriarchal writings from Adam to his time. So now you understand we have a writing. This is before the flood a writing system. So we had information being written down. So how did we steal anything from who you would call the Akkadians, which are Hamites, who came after the flood, sir? Make it make sense, sir. We lining it up, right? Sourcing it up. So again, we have writings, and we're going to prove it. Noah's source. We got that, right? Let's get it. It says this. During this time, even the descendants of Seth became corrupt. In 1536 AM, Yahweh gave Noah a prophecy that man had 120 years to repent, or the flood judgment would occur. Methuselah and Noah preached repentance for the entire 124-year period. Priest, king, Melchizedek, Noah. Again, we looking at a lineage, a dynasty being passed down from father to son. Let's see what Josephus had to say. Now, this posterity of Seth continued to esteem Yahweh as Adonai of the universe, to have an entire regard to virtue for 7 generations, but in process of time, they were perverted and forsook the practices of their forefathers, and did neither pay those honors to Yahweh which were appointed them, nor had they any concern to do justice towards man. But what degree of zeal they had formerly shown for virtue, they now show by their actions in double degrees of wickedness, whereby they made Yahweh to be their enemy. So again, family, we see that there was other people there. Not only was there other people there, but the writings that we had, they had writings too. But the brother didn't pull out none of those writings. The reason that he didn't pull out none of those writings is because he have no understanding of those writings. He spoke of everything that deals with Shemitic script, Afro-Asiatic understanding. I just showed you that in my second time up. I showed you that clearly. The Ugaritic, right? The Akkadian, all Shemitic script, all Afro-Asiatic as the scholars call it today, right? Next slide. Noah's record in his testament is this. Like I told you, Noah's writing, right? This is from the Testament of Noah, right? If you blow it up a little bit, you see it right there. Testament of Noah, column 7, right? It says this. Noah records in his testament that he was told he would be the next king of righteousness after the flood. You will govern the entire earth, all that is upon it, including the mountains and the seas. Testament of Noah, column 7, right? Again, writings Noah wrote down. We had a system that became the Shemitic script. Why is that? Because Noah taught his son. Make sense? That ain't got nothing to do with second Enoch. Let's go. Next slide. Now we have Shem, right? Shem was to be the next king of righteousness and guard against the coming invasion and apostasy. Before the apostasy will be complete, one would arise from his seed and destroy the apostate kingdom. The apostate kingdom would invade Shem's portion and come together to form a one world empire and a one world religion in the end times. Noah ordained Shem to be the 6th Melchizedekian priest of the Most High Power. And we've seen that in Genesis, where Noah said to the God of Shem only, not to the God of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right, next slide. All right, this is the ancient testament of Noah, column 15. Then I, Noah, awoke. It was morning, and I blessed the everlasting power. I quickly went to Shem, my son, and told him everything, that through him the righteous one would come, and that he had to preserve the knowledge and become the next priest king of the Most High. This is the writings of Noah. We had a writing system. That same writing system passed down to who? His son Shem, who he said is not a Shemitic language. Interesting, huh? Interesting how the same language that his father learned from Methuselah, his father, that he learned from Enoch, his father, they all had writings passed down from Adam. Next slide. Abraham. Shem waited to see what Yahweh would do. Abraham was the 14th generation from Enoch's So the Messiah coming was still quite a long way off. Eventually, y'all did speak to Abraham. Y'all changed his name to Abraham and made the covenant with him. He was to be the next king of righteousness and father, aka priest of Yahweh, to the nations through whom the Messiah would come. Once this was understood by our granddad Shem, is when he ordained and blessed Abraham according to the Bible, Yashar and Jubilees, as we will read and understand together. Next slide. Yashar, chapter 9, speaks of Abraham being blessed by the Most High, right? 9, Yashar, chapter 9, 5 through 6. It's sourced, right? Next, it's the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Right? That's the testament of Noah that I just read to you guys, right? And so right there is Yashar, right? Where we see here the confirmation of what I just read to you about Abraham becoming the next priest king, right? Where we see it in Genesis, next slide, Genesis 12, 1 and 3, right? It says, now Adonai said to Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto the land that I will show thee, and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Again, the Most High is talking directly to Abraham, which makes him a priest. We already understood that he gave him dominion, so that makes him priest king, right? Abraham, Melchizedek. The characteristics are in the scriptures, all in our documents, not outside. You can't understand. One that don't understand our culture can never understand what's being read. That's why he misspoke when he read Enoch, not understanding what was being spoken there. Genesis 14 and 17 and 20. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after the return from the slaughter of Shalam, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shavah, which is the king's date. And Melchizedek, king of Shalam, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High power. Again, we read this before, right? And it was Adonzedek. Remember, I told you that it was in the scriptures. I told you we was going to get there. Same name. The only difference is we have Adonzedek, Lord of righteousness. And then we have Melchizedek, same
1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining.
Of righteousness, right? Melchizedek, Adonzedek go hand in hand. Again, we can identify that in the next slide, right? What I just said, again, in Yashar 16, 10, and 12, I read that in my first slide, right? It's clearly right there. You understand? Adonzedek, the same as Melchizedek, the same information, the same experience Abraham just had. You can't get around it. You can't get around it. Next slide. So at this point, we are 7 Melchizedekian priests, starting from Adam, our father, Adam, Canaan, Enoch, Methuselah, Noah, Shem, and Abraham. At this point, it's evident that our eternal priest king order is not by way of typology nor oath, but by genealogy. You are who your father is. I land right there.
Come. All right. So, in this order of succession, one thing that was propagated by the brother General Yashar is that these things are successions, and the reasoning for the rising up of this Melchizedekian order, which is a primary point of this argument and discussion, if you're paying attention. Yashar is saying that these Melchizedeks was risen up during the time of the apostasy of the people to bring the people back in righteousness. What the brother Asar is saying, and he correct me if I'm wrong, is that this order comes from another deity that belongs to another group of people. All right.
Not the order. Not the order. I'm just saying that
Right.
Zedek was a deity before you even get an establishment of an order.
That's correct. That is correct. So now, if that's the case, and thank you for that correction, brother. If that's the case, then what Yashar just brought forth concerning the order of succession, not the order of Melchizedek, but the order of succession from Adam up into Shem, right? The order of succession was going from father to son. So that's two sides of the arguments. So I'm just trying to make sure that you judges are aligned with the actual argument and what is being propagated here. I want to ask you two brothers a question. Yashar, if you can turn your camera on real quick. All right. So that's the end of the third round. So you guys have an option here. You can do a 5-minute apiece interrogation, right? Where you can demand yes or no answers for 5 minutes. And the person have 2 minutes to give their answer, or you could do a rapid fire where you guys are going back and forth to substantiate your point. It's up to you.
Yeah,
What do y'all want to do?
I'm with the first option.
All right. Interrogation. What say you, brother?
I will do more. I would rather more for the dialogue. Only reason I say that because I don't got direct access to like the screen share and actually being able to actually leave this screen and go to a source. The brother got another phone in his hand. I ain't got another device to actually So when he asks certain things, unless his questions are strictly about what was presented in the slides, then I can just go back to the slides and we can converse from there. If that's what we go interrogate me on, then we could do that.
Right. So do you want to do the rapid fire, Yashar? Or you want to do? Or we can do
all of my
questions. Have 5 questions apiece. We could do it that way too. 5 singular questions.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the 5 questions because I don't really want to. I don't want it to get misconstrued because you know what I'm saying. The back and forth, we start talking over each other type of thing, and I don't want people to start looking at it from that aspect. I want it to be,
all right, cool. We're cool. So this is how it's going to go. You're going to ask your question. The person is going to have 2 minutes to respond to that question. All right. And then we're moving to the next question. All right. You're going to have 5 questions in a row. Then it's the other person's turn. We started with the brother. Now we're going to start with you, Yashar. You'll be able to ask your questions first. Ask your question. The brother got 2 minutes to respond. If you want a direct yes or no, specify that, and then the person can expound on that yes or no. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. So let me get the clock going. For the 2 minutes. Matter of fact, when you ask the question, I'll start the clock.
Okay. Is the 5th century before 10,000 to 12,000? Well, 12,000 to 10,000 BC.
No.
Question 1.
My turn.
You don't want to expound on that, bro?
No.
Right there. No. I had information going from the 10th century to the 5th century BC. Like, we also you already addressed it. So I know what you're alluding to. So let me at least make this a little entertaining, at least. Because I know what you alluding to. You alluding to that your information is somehow older than my information. I literally show linguistically how the Hebrew came last. How the Canaanites had their language before y'all even had a language. Y'all wasn't speaking Nathaniel. On the historical level, you can play the indoctrination game all you want with your doctrine. According to Kemetic doctrine, the Asar reigned for 10,000 years. Doctrine-wise, not historically. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Question 2.
So you said you was dealing with the Semitic etymology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so according to your information, it referred back to Shem, right?
No, the etymological word that it came back that Semitic comes from directly is Semitisk, which is a German word.
Mm-hmm. So the Germans, can you source that the Germans outside of what the scholar said, can you source the origins of that word with the German language?
Remember when I proposed that we can do this, that I said it would have to be strictly within what I got within my joint. Now we can go back to my joint because yes, this meant I will be scholastically honest with you as well. The man's attempt was to align this word with Shem. But the reason why scholars today, and the reason why you're even every single time you utilize the word, you double down with a Afro-Asiatic right afterwards, because you even know that it's a BS term, because like I've even brought out, you're going to find other nations that we know for sure are not Shemitic peoples within that linguistic catch term, Semitic.
Okay, cool. Can you go back to my PowerPoint and go all the way to where you see the first map? I asked a couple of questions. Set the bottom. You see
It's at the bottom.
Yeah, you see it. There they go right there. The first one, right? Can you
Yeah.
blow that up a little bit?
I think that's big as it get.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's big as it get.
I'm gonna read what it say in the box, Ase, and I want to see what your take is on this, right? And what you see right there in the brown spot, the language actually originates, right? So this is what it says in the box in the left corner. It says the common ancestors of the Afro-Asiatic language were spoken in the Middle East and the Levant about 12 to 10,000 years ago, right? And so they got a mark right there, right? Would you say that Afro-Asiatic language is the same Germanic Shemitish language that they talking about, that we've been talking about this whole time?
Afro-Asiatic includes Semitic. Yes. The broader group is Afro-Asiatic. The smaller group, like the house group, is Semitic. So you have the Semitic housing. But the big fam is Afro-Asiatic.
Hold on, right? Because I'm confused, right? So are you saying that there are non-Shemitic people that also speaks the Shemitic language?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm never Shemitic. I'm not saying Shemitic language. There are non-Shemitic people who speak the Semitic languages.
Okay, so you don't agree that Semitic and Shemitic is the same thing?
Hell no. Impossible.
Okay. All right. All right. So
that's my third or my fourth question. Which one?
All right, go ahead. You got it, bro. You got it.
I think I got one more question. I got one more, or I got two?
Yes, sir. You got one more.
I think you got he got one.
Yeah,
I thought he only got three.
That was your third question.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So I ain't gonna even do that. Okay, so last question, right? So you were speaking about how, you know, the Akkadians and the Ugaritic, right? Was before anything that we had going on, right? That's what you made a statement about, right?
Yep. As far as established language, yes.
Okay. Last point. I need you to go to my slide one more time. Slide number 83. All right. It's right above, like right next to that. Yeah, that one right there. This is what it says. It says it was on this occasion that Yahweh, and the 70 angels that surrounded his throne cast lots concerning the various nations. Each angel received a nation, and Israel fell to the lot of Yahweh. To every nation, a particular or peculiar language was assigned, Hebrew being reserved for Israel, the language made use of by the God at the creation of the world. Now, we speak this language, and I've been saying this the whole time when I was talking about Adam passing down his language, passing down his script. Can you source, because this is from one of our historians, right? Can you show me in any of your information that you have concerning the language, right? Can you show me anything older than the language of creation?
I don't deem nothing as the language of creation. I don't subscribe to that thought process. That's completely doctrine. That's like I'm always going to compare when I say these type of things too. That's like me saying, can you show me anything older than the who in the commission, which is the equivalent of the word that brought everything into existence. It existed within their pantheon too. So like I know I don't subscribe to your doctrine, so I would not consider Hebrew as the word of creation. There's like, come on, Hebrew ain't even the word.
Gotcha.
All right. So that's the first round of the question and answer segment. Asai, it's on you now, brother.
Okay. My first question was going to be this. In the table of nations, are the Akkadians set up by Nimrod, of course, Akkad? Is Akkad and in Babel belonging to a Shemitic people, originating with a Shemitic people?
No.
That's that you don't want to expound?
The landmass, right, was established by Nimrod, which is whose son is that? That's Cush son. That'd be Cush son. That'll be a son, right, of Ham. The Akkadians, right? I can't really go back and tell you whose son Akkad is. It's not off the top of my head. But the fact is this, right? The central language that they were speaking would have been the language that Noah taught the three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, according to our science and culture. So it makes sense that when these people venture out to Babylon and into the land of Akkad that became the Akkadians' land, they would be speaking the Shemitic script. You know why? Because Shem was the teacher. Shem was the priest. He was Melchizedek. So this is why you see the name so attached to a broader language like that, because of our priest. That's my answer.
Okay, my second question. Why would a father and other ancestors before that father, like forefathers, like the grandfather, why would they be passing down a language named after a son who comes way later named Shem? Why would the naming of this language be Shemitic instead of maybe Noahic or Adamic even? Why Shemitic? Why we so concerned with this? What's going on?
Because Shem was the first priest king after the flood. So through him, like I just read to you, everything will be established. Our Messiah will come through his righteous lineage, right? Like I stated to you, he was the Melchizedek of the Adonzedek, right? In Yashar, the Melchizedek in the scriptures, right? That blessed Abraham, right? And when you go back into Jubilees, right, you see where Abraham actually learned from Shem and Noah for 30 plus years. Absolutely. And that's sourced up too.
Third question. What makes up a Afro-Asiatic language? What creates that?
Well, the Afro-Asiatic language, that title is not something that we gave, right? That's something that modern
Right.
scholars have named a language that we never named our language, right? So the language that we called it in Gabar or Eber, right? That's because through my research and study, I come to find out that he was a scribe for Shem, right? So he wrote down all of the writings and all of the teachings that Shem was actually teaching all of those who came across him, right? They had a school. This is where Isaac learned. This is where uh, Jacob learned, right? Go into our history, right? Historians to get this information and understanding. You can't just get everything from the Bible. Like I tell you, I'm not just one. My foundation is our scriptures, but I'm a historian at that. So I go deep into our sources to understand what y'all will lack to understand because you will never read it.
I really damn near want to ask that question again because I don't think that you really fully grasp what I asked you. Like even on a modern, like what are the scholars using is my question. What are the scholars utilizing to say this is, like for instance, we can go to my slides and show this. When I showed you what they were using to classify a Semitic language, I showed you the components that are being utilized. What components come together to create Afro, which is a hint to Africa, and Asian, which is a hint to Asia, together? What's happening?
Well, the way that I can simply express that is because of how our description is, right? Or the Asian man is the one with the afro, right? The afro type hair, right? The beard type, facial features, right? That would be your Asian man according to phenotype, according to cranial structure, right? All these things are scientifically proven, right? So when you understand these things, you understand the difference between our phenotype, our cranial structure, versus our Hamitic brothers, our kinetic brothers, which is a more rounder structure, right? A more tighter curled hair that don't grow into afro. And they don't have facial hair, right? And their lips are a little bit more protruded and bigger than ours. You understand? So it's a difference. And then on top of that, majority of your Africans are, right, your darker skinned brothers, right? We have a mixture of both dark skin, brown skin, light skin, right? We have that mixture, right? Because of our demographics, where we are from the center of the earth. We get the hot and cold mixture versus our brothers in the south get that hot mixture versus our brothers that's in the north get that straight cold. So when you talk about how they identify language, it only makes sense that they will identify we that spoke the language according to where we were. The Afroid man in Asia Minor, that's his language. It only makes sense.
Let's get my last question in. This last one, since you showed a map, I'm gonna show a map. Brother, can you go back to my slides and pull up the it should say the mapping Proto-Semitic language. It's gonna have a map on it. It's towards, it's more upward. Right there. Bang. So I'm gonna read this real quick and then I'm gonna ask you. Hopefully you can see the map because that's just really vital. Even more than a word. While the Proto-Semitic peoples themselves left no written record, several archaeological cultures may have corresponded to their environment. Early Bronze Age nomads of northern Arabia and southern Syria, such as the Safavidic and the Talmudic cultural ancestors. These are pre-Akkadian populations of the Syrian steppe influencing the earliest Akkadians. And I already showed in my research that the Akkadian was the oldest one within that Semitic language family far established. So what I want to do now is show this map. And on this map, everything in green is considered to be the steppes. Can you tell me where your darkly melanated Afro family is at? in the inception of any of these spaces and places, can you tell me where our family would be?
They definitely wouldn't be up there where you at. So let me answer it according to my maps. Go
Okay.
take that down. Jeremiah, can you go back to my maps, please? And I'll answer it according to the maps that I got, right? Because where you was at, that was, man, you talking about mountains, cold. There's no Asiatic language up there, bro. But we're gonna show it what it is, right? Okay, go back to the first map, and then we're gonna move to the left, right? The first map, right? That right there is showing you the origins of our language, the Afro-Asiatic language, according to how they have it documented, right? So move to the left, boom. The next slide. You see how that migration pattern just went? That migration pattern went down south into what we call Africa. That's the Afro-Asiatic language, and that took place in 8100 BC, right? 8100 BC. So now we see in the Afro-Asiatic language migrate into what you call Africa, still called the Afro-Asiatic language or Shemitic language during that time period, because that's the time period that Shem's people started to migrate into Shem's land. And then also you see, move to the next slide, please. At that point in time, right, now you're going to see, excuse me, right, this is 8000 BC, right? At this point in time, now we have the South Afro-Asiatic language. We still haven't got to the other languages just yet, right? I'm talking about time period. Next slide, right? Right here, we're talking about 6000 BC, right? So now at this point in time, we have the North Afro-Asiatic language, which is called the Semitic, which is in green. Then we have the African North Afro-Asiatic, which is in, look like a goldish color, brownish color. Then you have the South, which is in purple, which is the Cushitic and the Omitic. These are all still Afro-Asiatic languages, bro. So when you start talking about the Akkadian language, right, that has no weight on our script. That has no weight. We're talking about a time period from 10,000, 12,000 into the last one, 5000 BC. Again, the Akkadian is Shemitic. So I didn't have to mention Akkadian or Babylonian language because that's what they spoke. They spoke a Shemitic language and wrote a Shemitic script. You don't see them speaking or writing in Cushitic or Omitic at that point in time, which is still Shemitic, right? Nor do you see them speaking in the Niger-Congo language, right? Which is the language that you speak of, the Click language, which is the South African, right? That's not a Afro-Asiatic language, nor was that the language that they were speaking in Akkad, nor was they speaking in Babylon.
So, yeah, this is getting very intriguing to me because, even my whole reason for even asking you what I even asked you, and cut me off if I'm being a little too long-winded, brother. The reason I even asked you what I asked you, as far as the establishment of the Afro-Asiatic languages, because through my research, we even find that the Afro-Asiatic languages are set up because of Semites bringing their language and their script to the African continent, intermingling with those peoples, making the Afro-Asiatic. Have you ever took any of these languages, such as maybe even Kemetic? And
then you had a question, brother.
I'm glad you said something.
You had a question, brother. All right. So listen, man. It's very important.
I know you like me forget it. I know you're gonna bring it up. So here you go.
Back on.
Listen, man, it's very important that I don't want this conversation to go over people's heads, right? And that's why I was attempting, in between rounds to try to surmise these points as you guys was jumping back between the Shalom and the Melchizedekian conversation. Listen, man, you brothers did a great job.
Hey, vice versa. This was tough.
Yeah, man, I respect it, bro, for real. right? And this is what we about at the Source Debate League, man, is bringing scholastic conversations. It's the debaters don't always deliver, all right, and sometimes it's a damn landslide, all right. But I had to give it to you, brothers. You brothers fought it out, a good fight, and we're gonna go to the judges now. For some reason, we have lost one of the judges, and I'm gonna make sure that when I find her, yeah, you're gonna get introduced to Lord Megatron, all right? But we do have Pro Rizzo in the building. We do got Elder Maharaka in the building. Elder Maharaka, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, brother. Pro Rizzo, you there? Unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
All right, man. So before you brothers deliberate on your judgment, what you brothers think about that debate, man?
Honestly, sounds like they need a redo with a kind of different title. Same subject, just a different title. That's my opinion. I think that spent a lot of time on the language, but not necessarily giving substance that's necessary to prove these points. But I'm gonna reserve the rest of my opinion about this when it's time to get a final rendering.
All right.
Other
All right,
than that,
Mahar.
good back and forth.
Yeah, good back and forth. Maharaka.
Kind of agree with Don, but I was trying to, because I ain't gonna, I want to apologize, man, because I got the plumbing going on. It's crazy, man. So, I really don't even want to judge because I had plumbing issues. My brother-in-laws came over here. I mean, it just was chaotic, bro. So I really don't want to, really just give a fair judge. I mean, a wrong judgment. You feel me? Like, y'all both sound like y'all know what y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't understand, if you don't know what y'all talking about, you just gonna be sitting over here zoned out. I'm saying, but I'm gonna
And
tell
man,
you,
and that's why I attempted to, kind of bring hone in on certain points as I was listening, man. As debaters, right? We have to make sure that we're conveying our point, because one thing I noticed about the so-called conscious community, one thing I noticed is they credit brothers for being able to talk over people's heads, right? And using terminology and dialects that's above people's head. In the Israelite community, we honor brothers who can take a complex topic and simplify, right? So we like the exact opposite of when I'm looking at both of the communities. It's important in debates to make sure that we're conveying our points as digestible as possible, man. So I just wanted to say that. So Maharaka, you saying you don't want to give a deliberation? Is that what you're saying, brother?
well, I mean, this. I'm trying to formulate in my head.
Hey, listen, man. You deal with your plumbing problems on your own time, brother. What the hell's wrong with you, brother?
Oh, I'm supposed to be in the smelly booty world. My family, we can't take a dump. Nothing, brother. Are you serious,
Yeah,
brother?
man. Yeah, man. Come on, man. Get it together. Huh?
Wilding. One. It may seem a little. I'm gonna be a little biased. I can't refrain. I'm a Bible man, right? I'm listening to the arguments, right? I'm trying to. Are we talking about Melchizedek? Who is Melchizedek? Where is his origin? You know, tying into the language, right? With defining his name, a deity, Zedek, and is that in connection with Melchizedek, as we learn in the scriptures in Genesis, and then we have Hebrew, and I'm hearing him being Shem. I'm hearing, all these breakdowns of who.
Yeah. Hold on a second, man. We're not gonna do that, right? Hey, so respectfully to both debaters, this is what I propose, right? Because we also lost the third judge, right? So what I'm suggesting is a postponed deliberation for Sunday. We'll fire it back up on Sunday and give a deliberation. And we would love to have you brothers back. Like Pro Rizzo said, defining maybe a different topic or redefining this topic. We would love to have y'all back. But I suggest, y'all brothers tell me what y'all think, for a postponed deliberation for Sunday concerning this particular debate at hand. Listen, I was paying attention, okay? I know what the hell you Negroes were talking. I know the brother went to damn second Enoch. This brother went over here to goddamn the Legend of the Jews. I was paying attention.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that too. I heard the brothers,
right.
Speaking against, questioning and.
But since Maharak's over there dealing with the doodoo worlds,
I've been listening.
You don't want your biased judgment, brother.
I've been
dealing
listening.
with the doodoo worlds, bro. We can't deal with the biased judgment, bro.
I've been listening.
I'm a Bible man. I'm gonna go with the Bible guy. No, we're not doing that. Okay?
No.
I respect that.
I'm listening. I'm listening to the argument. I'm just being honest, right? But if you're saying, if you're attaching Melchizedek to a Hamitic God, I don't see that nowhere in the scriptures. I don't see that. Well,
man, the brother made a hell of a goddamn argument. I'm telling you right now. The brother made a hell of an argument.
He definitely was giving an argument. I just have to again sit down without any distractions and just really
but that's why I'm
a summary of what you was bringing out.
That's why I'm suggesting.
That's why I said I really don't want to give a judgment. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah, because you over there dealing with the doodoo worlds. We understand, bro. Okay.
I like that. I like that suggestion. You know what
that's dope. Post the video, and then leave it up for Sunday, and then we come back and we do we make another video with the judges circle.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope content too.
I've got a proposal I like to bring to the stage to this. I would like to interrogate both of the debaters on some key points in this argument.
Yeah,
okay.
Can we do that?
I'm with that.
All right. So here's the first question. In your first rounds, and I'm gonna direct this at Yashar first. Somewhere around the 1 hour 50-minute mark, you actually went to the word Melchizedek and you took us to the Hebrew, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So to the next opponent, in your first round, you gave us several different origins for the word Melchizedek, correct?
I gave several different origins for the words Zedek and Shalam on the chronological level, not Melch. I did step into Melch though when I was naming the kings. That should be that's gonna be in the first slides, couple slides. You gonna see the kings venerating Zedek, actual people like the kings of Sidon.
Right, you see that on the screen, right?
So Zedek, what is Zedek?
Zedek was an ancient Canaanite deity from where I'm coming from.
Canaanite deity. Okay, and what era did that Canaanite deity derive?
It derived at around about 1200 to 1400, around 1400 BCE. This was around the time that they formulated Zedek.
And where does Melchizedek fall in line in history?
Who you talking about, the biblical figure or the just the word itself?
I mean, that's what y'all arguing. Saying
no,
that Melchizedek,
because one man is coming from a biblical narrative,
line.
one's not.
You just said he was a Canaanite deity.
Well, it's on the screen, Don. He has King.
No, I'm just asking him because I've got notes here. I'm asking him
That's
because I got
cool.
notes.
I'm trying to answer you as correctly as I can, brother. So I'm not coming from a biblical narrative. I'm coming from a historical narrative, just dealing with the Canaan, with what we consider quote unquote Canaanite kings and the deities in the Ugaritic cycles itself. We're dealing with history, not scripture.
Yeah, so
Okay,
it would be king. It would be king, and then the veneration of the deity, which is
I don't even, that's not even what I'm asking him. I'm asking him about this deity. You're placing the deity at 1200, 1400 BC, correct?
Absolutely. I also showed that within the chronological linguistical breakdown of both Shalom and Zedek.
And the language is what?
It's going to be within the Canaanite. We consider to be Ugaritic as well.
What? Canaanite, and what language would that be?
Did
you tell us in the first round? You said Ugaritic. Did you bring us a proof text for that? A source for that?
Just keep on going. 1 second, brother. Just keep on going. We can go to go to my slide. Go ahead, go to the chronological understanding of Zedek. Okay, we can go to Shalim first. I don't mind dealing with Shalim because I got scholarly backing after both of them. So I deal with the Proto-Semitic first, and then we deal with the Akkadian 2500. Where do I got? Okay, over here, bang, Ugaritic, 1400 to 1200 BC. We go see right there, Shalim, root meaning, well-being, completeness, a divine name or epithet, Shalim, the evening star deity, twin of Shahar. Go to the next slide after this, please. Nope, let's go to, nope, it's just a scholarly backing behind Shalim.
Here's scholarly backing.
Here we go. This is Albright William F. Yahweh and the Gods of Canaan. Historical analysis of the two contrasting faiths. London Athlone Press, 1968, the reprint. This work discusses the Ugaritic material in the Canaanite pantheon, including Shalim. We had the articles. We had archaeology and religion in the late Bronze Age Canaan. The religion 2019 provides discussion of Ugaritic deities, including Shakar and Shalim, dawn and dusk as children of El. Also got the site right there. You can literally copy paste that site. I thought I was gonna be able to actually share my screen myself. You'll be able to just copy paste that site or just whatever you want, and you can go straight into my sources. I also went over the KTU, the Baal cycle. I went over primary scripts. We went over actual cuneiform.
What source do you have that predates 1968? That's not a primary source.
The cuneiform. Okay, go back up. Go to the cuneiform. Bang.
Concerning that deity.
Okay, that's exactly. Okay, cool. That's cool. Go back up. One more slide up, brother. One before this. Okay, bang. In the city of the Ugaritic, Rasham Syria text written in the Ugaritic cuneiform named Shalim as a deity. Shalim appears as the god of dusk and sunset, twin brother of Shahar, the dawn. Both are described as the children of the high god El and the consort Ashira. Both are seen here suckling Ashira. Let's go to the next slide. This is what he wants. Nope. Next slide. We're gonna be in the cave. We're gonna be showing us the stones.
Back up or down?
It should be going downward. Bang. So we gonna go to the KTU. Do what 100 God list offering text. KTU 1.78. To Shahar and to Shalim, the great gods. This shows that Shalim was actively worshipped with code offerings, not just a mythological figure or simple greetings. You have the text right here for yourself. We can go to the right. Fragmentary cult text mentions Shahar and Shalim in associated ritual provision, confirms that they had temple service. Also, KTU 1.92 lists gods of invoked and ritual texts. This includes Shahar and Shalim, who are siblings. The source would be Nicholas Wyatt, the religious text from the Ugaritic. We can go to the next slide. So I also introduced what KTU even means.
Yeah. You know, my issue is as a judge, I'm listening to this. You got a 1200, 1400 BCE, roughly, approximately. You're placing you say a Ugaritic deity somewhere around 2500 BC in your slides. You actually have that. You didn't read it. This is a deity from 2500 BC. But you're saying this
Where is that
Melchizedek
at my
is the person.
slides?
You just had it up.
Can you go back to my slide and see where I got 2500? That's a deity in 2500 BC.
Yeah, if you'll back up a few slides, you'll see it.
Yeah, go. You can go ahead, brother. Show me what I'm missing.
I mean, it's your information. I'm just looking at it.
You making the claim though?
No, I'm looking at it. It's in your information.
I'm just trying to see where you.
Besides all of that, hold on. Just you see that right there?
Okay,
Akkadian,
what do that say, bro?
2500.
And what? Okay, so what is this? A chronological understanding of the trilateral root SLM. We have the Proto-Semitic, and we have the word that they were using. Then we have the Akkadian, Sumu. It meant well-being, safety, prosperity. Sumano, gift of well-being, also used as a diplomatic tribute. It turns to a deity when we go to the Ugaritic, brother. SLM root meaning well-being.
But you're saying the
One
linguistics,
second, bro.
though.
Let me bring it out.
The linguistics.
Let me bring it out, bro.
I'm not asking you to argue.
I'm doing this for a reason, bro. Because we see
that
it's a deity. That is a deity in 1400 BCE. Isn't that before the Iron Age, bro? When I got the Hebrews listed.
That's irrelevant.
How is it irrelevant? That's what this whole debate is about.
But see, when you start playing around in the area of linguistics, what you're doing is you're saying that the word Melchizedek related to a deity goes back to Akkadian 2500 BC, and I've not heard you make that connection in this whole debate.
That's not the claim I made, not one time.
But you mentioned it.
No, I never.
You mentioned it.
I never.
Just like in your first round, you brought a recording. You brought a recording in your first round that really didn't help your argument at all.
How
really didn't. This is what you call loaded language. You didn't make the connection between.
Respectfully, this dude kind of disrespectful. This ain't the type of back and forth I want to have. Like this, like if you want to debate, bro, I'll kick your ass, fam. No cap.
All right, hold on, man. Hold on.
No cap.
Well, that's interesting because
no cap. Like all you gotta do is register for the smoke, bro. I'll take you down.
You do realize you're talking to one of your judges, right?
That's cool, bro. Like I don't even need you judging me, fam.
We're not back and forth.
You mad disrespectful and it's giving mad bias, bro. You weird, fam.
Well, I'm about to get a little bit more disrespectful.
Your whole stance. Hey, you putting words in my mouth.
Hold on.
Can I say something?
Hold on a second.
I mean,
I want to question Yashar, and I want to question the brother on these points. I don't want to be interfered with as a source exec. I really don't want to be. I need y'all to stand down. These are just questions. That's all they are. These are just questions. I want to ask Yashar.
Hey, Paul Rizzo, can I say something real quick, bro, before you go?
That man poured.
I'm in the middle of doing a deliberation.
I know, but let me just say something real quick.
I don't need you to do that. I'm just asking Yashar and this brother.
I am a judge.
Basic questions.
You try to debo the judge.
And since you didn't want to read, since you dealing with Roto-Rooter, figure give us some fresh air. Man. You know what I'm talking about?
Don't think I wasn't taking notes. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I wasn't taking notes, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to let me say something, then you could. You could.
Yeah, man. I just don't want this. I just don't want the conversation to turn left, man. All right.
It's just the general questions. That's all these are. These are general questions that a judge is looking at.
I know, but you can't. You trying to debo the whole joint, bro? Chill out, man. Only thing I was gonna say is that
I don't know what you mean by that.
Say something right quick, general. Can I say something, Dawn?
These are general questions.
All right, so
I don't think I interrupted you, Mahar, while you were talking judgment, Your Honor. I don't think I interrupted you, Your Honor. Now, if you want some of this smoke, you can be my guest, and I'll welcome you in for some toast and kick your behind party if you want some of this smoke. You understand me?
Hey, bro, ain't nobody worrying about you, bro.
Okay.
Hey,
okay.
Y'all both agreed for Mr. Diabolical right here to question y'all, right? Y'all both agreed. He agreed, and you agreed. You know what I'm saying? So he got this bag because the man was questioning him about what he's talking about. Dawn the magic wand to be quiet, right? I was taking notes about his historical sources and how, you know, you go into the linguistics, you taking a word Salim and trying to make it so Shalom, and just because it sounds the same or look the same doesn't mean it's the same thing, brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even in his sources that I was looking up, you know what I'm saying? It did not
My phone
attach
died. My bad.
Melchizedek. It didn't attach Melchizedek to none of that in those books and things that he was pulling up.
Well, look, man. This is what I want to do, right? Respectfully to the panel, right? I want to have this. I want to postpone this judgment till Sunday, man. If you brothers are free, I don't really want to dive off into any more questions because I don't want to muddy the water. I think it was a great show, man. I mean, I think it was a great show, bro. I think it was a good fight, man. You know, and I'm looking at the source information. It was a good fight, man. You understand? I have my position, and I know how I would fight it, you know, because I'm a debater. You know what I'm saying? So I know how I would be trying to duck and weave and throwing my little jab shots. I know what I would do, right? What I saw as witnessing in this fight, it was a good fight. Shout out to both brothers, man. Both brothers. And we've seen a lot of debates here at the source. All right. So I'm not blowing smoke up nobody's tailpipe. You sure I tell you, man. If it was trash, nigga, I'm gonna tell you. All right. So what I want us to do, and for those that are watching, what I want you to do, go back and watch this debate. Fact check some of these sources. Come back with us on Sunday. I want you to flood the comments, man. And if you got questions, come back with your questions because we'll allow the brothers to expound once we get to deliberation and take on any questions from you brothers and sisters that are watching, man. It was a good debate. I'm talking about rebuttals. I'm talking about people that was getting direct questions were being answered during the rounds. That means the brothers was paying attention. And the brothers was, you got to show me this right here. And then the brother come right back and show him, at least from his perspective, right? So this is what I'm saying. It was a good debate, man, right? So shout out to both brothers, man. Let us come back, right? We're going to get Maharaka's doo-doo cleaned up off his walls. We got doo-doo all over the walls, just spread all over the place, all right? We're going to get that cleaned up. We're going to come back Sunday and we're going to deliberate, man. Is that okay with you, brothers?
Yeah, I got a couple of $3-4 incense, you know, the big giant ones that the Indians bring from over there across the country. And put that up in the air.
But
the air.
Don, no, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know if bros want to steal, but I'll address your questions. What you got? I know.
Well, I just wanted to. I just wanted
got
to.
7 o'clock,
I just
brother.
basically wanted to fill the air.
Now.
There's nothing. There's nothing.
Tomorrow or
there's no one particular point with me. It never is. Although I have much more I can say, but I just wanted to get, you know, right down to the ground of the premises with the questions that I asked y'all, and that's really all it was. You know what I'm saying? Great debate, good back and forth. I like the exchange. It wasn't no dead space. Y'all definitely came prepared. Neither
one of them got through their slides, bro. Them bros was clipped up. I'm looking at both of them, man.
Yeah,
they was clipped up, boy.
Yeah, when you're prepared, you clipped up. You can't get through them all. I can't never get through them all. So, good job. I'm glad I witnessed this. Yashar, good to see you back in the saddle, bro. Cracking that whip. I like that. And to the other brother, did pretty good. You fought, you know, good showmanship. I like that. You wasn't intimidated. A lot of people get scared on that mic. When that button go red, it's a different story. But tip from Prorizzo. Yeah, I'm off the mic though.
Yeah, sorry, man. I definitely want to leave out with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? We about to get this tournament started in January, man. I want you involved, brother. You impressed me today, all right, brother?
I appreciate that, brother. Ain't no doubt about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You, man. Listen, man, you good. If I brought you food, man, you good, man.
Yeah, man.
Just you got to get used to brothers like Prorizzo.
No. The thing about it is, bro, is when you get. I just sat up here for a whole 2 hours and something, bro, and I ain't never like. It's just some stuff that he was saying. Like I never say that stuff. Like even on the like, I can't wait for you to post this though, so we can even look back. Like, yeah, dog ain't never say that. What was he saying? You go see it all on the playback though. Like it's gonna be a lot on the playback.
It's live on YouTube right now.
That's what I'm saying.
You do
like
realize
it's live
I
on
can
YouTube.
just rewind everything you said, right? You know that, right?
And that's the precise thing, bro. Because my debate, my whole stance was never. Hold on 1 second, bro. My stance was never about me trying to prove that Melchizedek go back all the way. No, my whole stance was that before the Hebrews had an ideology centered around Melchizedek and all of this, that Zedek was a deity in the land of Canaan. Before they even got a language, they don't even got no language. He had you all doctrine. But I guess if you believe in the Bible, you would eat it up.
Huh? What was that again? Because now you really got me in the world.
Wait a minute. So let me get this straight.
Listen, man. We gonna schedule this for say you Nick Rose is something else, man.
Yeah, because we gotta do our thing, brother.
Man, man. You the one came off your mic and turned your screen back on. All right, brother. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Because I was like, now you clarify even more worlds. So hold on.
Yeah. Yo. Nah, it's going down this Sunday, man. Y'all stay tuned. We gonna get the time and all that. We'll work. Yashar, I'm gonna hit you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this was dope. This was dope. This was dope.
We gonna get it in,
man. Good looking out, bro. Way to hold it together. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
For sure. Good looking for bringing me out, bro. This was dope.
For sure.
All right, man. Peace and blessings, man. We gonna get that thing rescheduled, man. I look to talk to y'all soon. Listen, man. For those that are watching, we about to come back, man, with a on that Gentile salvation, man. So stay tuned, man. Peace and blessings.
Hey, send me the link. I'll jump on the
Got you.
All different type of information every week. Let me speak. If you subscribe, we doing